So everyone, this is Chris Keneally. He is a URI alum and an executive at LinkedIn. And he drove here today from New York. Yeah, Chris! Woohoo!
So I roll.
So thank you. And we're also recording this for our colleagues who cannot be here today. Believe it or not, there are about 60 of us total at University College. So some people couldn't be here. So anyway, I just wanted to say thank you.
So what you're saying is I'm going to go viral on YouTube. I'm just going to want to watch this. So I was here in 1990 to 94, graduated in December of 94, spent 3 years playing professional football, and when that didn't work out any longer, I had to get a job. And one of the things that I realized throughout my sales career was that I'm a relationship selling person. It's always about relationships. And that's one of the core tenets at LinkedIn. Relationships matter. And when we're at our global sales kickoff with about 2,700 salespeople globally out in San Francisco, that was the theme of the year for us. And when I look at what you guys are doing and the people that I'm talking to, whether it's from teaching them how to use LinkedIn to get a job, teaching them how to use LinkedIn to drive more sales, teaching them how to find people to hire. I don't do a lot of that because I'm on the sales side of the business at LinkedIn, but it's still all about relationships. So my question is, of everyone in the room, who's actually on LinkedIn? Who's on LinkedIn every day? Who's been on LinkedIn today? So I'm a little bit of a LinkedIn addict. I wake up in the morning, I sit on the train for an hour, and I'm on LinkedIn. And I get to LinkedIn, and I'm on LinkedIn. And I leave LinkedIn, and I get on the train, and I'm on LinkedIn. And then I get home, and I eat dinner, and I'm watching TV, and I'm on LinkedIn. And my girlfriend says, you really have to put that down. This is affecting your life. You're like an addict. And it's true, but you know what I'm doing is not necessarily just work all the time. I mean, there's interesting information. One of the things I've done in the last probably 2 to 3 months is really build out my alumni network. Because I'm finding that that's where a lot of the warm introductions I'm getting from my business are coming from. And does anybody know how many alumni are on LinkedIn? Well, students and alumni. Take a guess.
20,000?
Way low.
150,000.
Way high.
All right. 40,000.
That's pretty close. I think it's like 49,000. So if you think about it, anybody coming into the school, I mean, there are plenty of people to talk to about what their experience was like here. Anyone leaving this school, there are plenty of people to talk to about what their experience is like in the real world. So it's about relationships. The opportunity for any college student, whether they're a freshman or a senior, to have an idea of what they want to do. Now, I was an economics major. Did I think that was ultimately going to turn into sales? Probably, because I'm a salesman. I've always been a salesman. But there was no major in sales. So the opportunity for any of these kids, and you could probably find, I think there's like 2,000 circus clowns on LinkedIn. So I'm sure you could think of an occupation, type it into LinkedIn, and you'll find people. So being able to not only leverage the people that are out there in the workforce in that occupation, but also have the same commonality of a University of Rhode Island graduate. And I've connected, I think I'm connected to 169, 170 alum, and probably 60% are people I've never met. So it's about reaching out and connecting with people who I feel can help me achieve my professional goals at LinkedIn and beyond. And then on the flip side, being able to help them achieve their professional goals. So as a student, having them go out and build their networks and build their profiles, and then connecting with alumni prior to even graduating is their proactive step in finding a job. You know, I saw on LinkedIn the other day, what 2 words would you give somebody graduating college this year, entering the workforce? and it was all like, good luck, you're in trouble, ship is sinking, things like that. But if you think about it, people in alumni type relationships, tend to go the extra mile for, someone who's now graduating. And I wouldn't even have my job at LinkedIn if it wasn't for an alumni relationship. Gabe Taparow, who graduated 10 years after me, was living in San Francisco, working at LinkedIn. We connected on LinkedIn through the alumni network. I thought, hey, he works at LinkedIn, that's pretty cool, I'll connect with him. He saw what I did. I was in insurance, knew that we had a new division starting in New York, selling to financial services companies. So, are you interested in the position in New York? I was like, sure. I had a business. I owned my own business. But everything I did was, if I didn't sell anything, I didn't make any money. So going from this to having a salary, having a commission structure, I said, sure. 3 weeks later, I had a job. The typical interview cycle at LinkedIn is about 6 to 8 weeks. And I had my job in 3 weeks because I was referred in by a LinkedIn employee because we went to the University of Rhode Island. So I wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for Gabe. And he lives in Boston now, and I asked him to come down because he works on the other side of the business, our talent solutions side, but he wasn't able to make it. So relationships really do matter. And when you're advising these students, what I want you to take away from, or have them take away from the conversation is, it's about them building their brand on LinkedIn, and how you can help them is to go through their profile with them. And it doesn't take a long time. Having a picture, I think it's now 9 times more likely to be viewed with a picture than without. Have it professional. For me, that's professional. This, I'm like overdressed right now for LinkedIn. I was gonna wear my In Charge t-shirt, but I figured that would get a little over the top. I had on there, this is actually new as of, I think, 2 days ago. I had on there like a suit and tie jacket. I look very professional. And it's just not realistic for who I am right now. Plus, I was about 4 years old. I don't look very much any different, but it's important to have a picture on there because people think you're hiding something if you don't, is what it comes down to. Why is there no picture of that person? And, I was up here in February, and I did a talk to some student athletes about why it's important to be on LinkedIn. And I think out of the 50, there was 35 that didn't have a picture. Well, we don't have a picture. Well, you have a wall, you have a phone. I mean, if this was 1990 and I was being asked that question, why don't you have a picture? Yeah, I have to, get on the bus to go down to Wakefield, and then find a passport agency and have them take the picture, and then come back to campus and then go back and get it, and then come back and then try and figure out a way to put it on my Apple IIg with the green screen. So it's very easy for them to upload a picture. They can have a friend take it. It's about presenting yourself. If you're an athlete, have your headshot from what you're wearing in your uniform. I mean, that's who you are right now. The second thing is your headline. Everyone loves to put their job title in here. This is 120 characters for you to transform what your job title is to who you are. So when I first started at LinkedIn, my headline said, LinkedIn Sales Solutions, Enterprise Account Executive, Financial Services. Now, by reading that, you could say, well, he works in financial services, some type of sales role, and he works at LinkedIn. Now I'm a sales professional, a relationship selling evangelist, and I'm elevating the sales profession through the use of LinkedIn. There's a lot more keywords in there, SEO optimization. When people are searching for something in sales, I come up. Selling, relationship selling, that's all I do. That's what I talk about every single day. Relationship selling, social selling. So I've identified myself as somebody other than the norm. You want to set yourself apart from any other candidate, any other advisor, any other salesperson, any other executive. It's about making yourself stand out. And you do that by having a great headline. Now, we did an eye graph on a person's LinkedIn profile. You had the picture and you had your headline. People spend 6 times more time on the headline than the picture. But you were 8 times more likely viewed with a photo. So it's like chicken or the egg. You know, if you don't have a picture, then I'm even looking at your headline. For students, if they have internship experience or they owned a painting business back home in the summers, you know, have them put that in there as their previous job. Have them update as much information about themselves as possible in a work history. Certainly, education is important because people will find you by where you went to college. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So, summary. And let me back up 2 steps before the picture. For years, LinkedIn was viewed as the gold standard for finding a job or finding talent for a job. It was, or it still is, the place to do that. But people's mentality was, and LinkedIn kind of perpetrated this sham, where you can upload your resume into LinkedIn. Like, great, I don't have to type anything, fantastic. Well, now you're just an online resume. You're not a profile. So in January of last year, or February of last year when I started, my boss instituted a program called Resume to Reputation. It's about taking your LinkedIn profile and transforming it from an online resume to your digital reputation. And as of now, I think there are 226 sales leaders at LinkedIn. All but 3 have transformed their profiles to a reputation. The other 3 are still busy, I guess. You know, it was one of his OKRs, Objectives Key Results, for like I think 3rd quarter last year. He got 223 of them, and then 3. So he didn't make his goal, but he got a gold star for it. Okay, let's fast forward. Summary. People often, in a job function, they typically take whatever their company blurb is and they plop it right in their summary. It's a big mistake, because this is your opportunity to tell your story about how you got from where you were to where you are. You're able to talk about your passions, your dreams, goals, what somebody can expect from either working with you or hiring you. So certainly, as a student, if they've been involved in activities, they've been involved in athletics, this is an opportunity for them to talk about how they transitioned from high school athletics to college athletics. If they transitioned from owning a small business as a high school student to transforming it to a bigger business, or interning at an organization now. It's an opportunity to talk about yourself without doing the chest beating. What I can't stand is when I read, and please advise them to write it in the first person. This is your LinkedIn profile. Please write a summary about yourself in the first person. I had this guy, I was down in New Orleans last week for work, and super successful guy. This guy was the number 4 insurance agent for Guardian Life. He had the worst LinkedIn profile I've ever seen, ever. And he did well using LinkedIn. It was just that it wasn't structured right. You know, throughout Richard's career, he has been a stellar, and like it just went on with that rhetoric, and then all of a sudden it was like this list of accomplishments, like 1983 Gold Star recipient at, something junior high. Nobody cares about your accomplishments. There's a place to put them. This is an opportunity to talk about yourself. Like, talk about who you are. This is your personal LinkedIn profile. So you want people to get to know you through this, so they call you up, or they invite you in for an interview. So the summary is quite important. I always like to have a quote on it. I change it up from time to time. Right now I still have the Michael Jordan quote up. But for a student, there's an opportunity for them to put a call to action in. You know, interested in XYZ type opportunities, you know, will work for food type thing. And then, I guess it was about 8 to 10 months ago, LinkedIn introduced the ability to put rich media on your profile, whether it's a link to a YouTube video, PDF, Word document, SlideShare. So any type of work they've done throughout their academic career, whatever, if it was presenting in front of a large group, if it was acting, you know, for the school play, I don't know what their production, theatrical production. You know, if that's something that they're looking toward doing, it's something they should have on their LinkedIn profile. And it's pretty easy to add something like that in, and I'll go through in the editing phase on how to do all this.
Chris, I have a question.
Sure.
So, in the summary piece, when we're advising students, do you have a recommendation for length in the summary? Because we're always advising our students who want to make it short, concise, you don't want to drag information out, because employers that are reviewing your profile are only going to review it for so many seconds.
Right.
So that's question number one. And then question number two is, to add the rich media in, do you have to bump up your account?
No.
Okay.
So number one, the summary, what's the length? Mine used to be about 3 times as long as that. It was just, I had a lot to say. When I went from resume to reputation, and quickly realized my profile views were down, way down. I get anywhere between 35 and 75 views per month. And I was like down in the teens. I was like, what's going on? My boss was like, shorten that up. I've changed my profile in the last 16 months about 75 times. Like, I'm always updating my profile because things are always changing in the marketplace, whether it's adding in the interview with this gentleman on the left, or shortening my summary, changing the quote. It's also a way for people in your network to see that there's a change. Well, let me look at his profile. And my network is extremely valuable to me because I'm connected very deeply inside of the financial services organizations across the US. So I have a lot of people constantly looking at my profile. As far as length, I do think that you can get it across in less words and still display your passion. It's more about ensuring that you're writing it in the right way. Like I said, first person, talk about your journey in as little words as possible, from where you were to where you are and where you want to go. Now, I know this is not going to be as relevant for a lot of the students, although I have seen more and more college LinkedIn profiles that are actually pretty impressive. You know, when I was in college, I didn't work in the summer because I was training for football. But even if I did, it was going to be like painting houses, or, you know, and these kids are like involved in serious business. And, you know, I commend them on it. I wish I'd done maybe something like that. So this is the opportunity to put your job title, like not your headline, in your experience. For any of the students, this is an opportunity to talk about what they did in their role, what they do in their work, they're still currently doing. And you want to do it in such a way where it's set out like, this is how I accomplish XYZ tasks, and this is why I do what I do. And this is what you can expect if you, A, hire me, and what your customers will expect, or what the organization can expect by having me on board. So once again, people want to know how you're going to bring value to them. So that's the type of information you want to display. It's not about you just saying, hey, you know, this is me. This is how I'm going to bring value to you, to your company, your organization, and this is what we can do together. Once again, you can add in rich media. So if somebody had an internship where they were, you know, responsible for actually completing a project, they can put it on here. Organizations and companies like to see that. One of the things that I talked about in February when I was talking to the student athletes was ensuring that you mentioned that you're a student athlete. Companies love hiring student athletes. And probably, I think Stryker hires the most ex-NFL players of any company. I think the second, Stryker does like medical devices, hospital beds, hips, knees. I mean, that's probably a reason why they have all the ex-athletes. I was actually pursued by this guy from Stryker for 3 years. He said, come on board. He wanted me to move to Nashville, of course, but that wasn't my shtick.
Question, Chris.
Yeah.
At what point in the hiring process would a company stop looking at a resume and might look at this profile?
Might?
Yeah.
They'll look at it probably first.
You think so?
They'll get a name and they'll look at a LinkedIn profile.
You
and then
think
what they're
this
also
is replacing paper resumes?
Replacing?
Well,
No,
because
not yet.
A paper resume would be first.
It will. I mean, a hiring manager is going to get a name and they're going to go and they're going to type in that person's name on LinkedIn. Then they're going to type in that person's name on YouTube. Then they're going to type that person's name in on Facebook.
Yeah.
Then they're going to type that name in on Twitter.
Well, what I'm thinking of is the scenario where somebody is receiving 100 or 200 resumes, like, you know, that first flush of, you know, I put out, I'm a big company and I put out a job posting and I'm going to get a ton of resumes, probably obviously online.
Right.
So that's going to be number one. At what point, I'm just curious, do they start to go? I mean, it would be hard to define it, I guess, but.
I don't deal a lot on the talent side of the business at LinkedIn.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do know that our search and staffing team and our recruiting team, that's all they use is LinkedIn. When you apply for a job, you're putting in your LinkedIn URL. That's how you're submitting your resume to a lot of companies. And the one thing I would add here is now, with the introduction of LinkedIn, the fact that we've done a great job of making the university pages more functional for finding a job, it's going to be easier to target companies that have alumni that work there, that you can leverage the relationships to get your either virtual or paper resume to the top of the pile to at least be viewed.
Before we're done, could we review that, what you just talked about?
Sure.
Yeah.
Like looking at the university page?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, outside of any experience they have, certainly if they're, you know, part of, if they were Eagle Scouts, I don't know, I mean, that's a pretty big deal if you're an Eagle Scout. Having that on your LinkedIn profile is something to showcase. Some people may say, oh, you were a Boy Scout until you were like 16 or 15. That's a big deal. Both of my cousins are Eagle Scouts. And it's something you want to put on your LinkedIn profile. I'm a board member at a nonprofit in New York City, and I have it on there because part of my job as a board member is to raise money. So when people come to my LinkedIn profile after I've sent them an email or a phone call about what we're trying to do at the museum, they're looking at my LinkedIn profile, they're seeing this, they can click on that piece of rich media there and learn more about what we're doing. Same thing for these kids. If they've done any type of volunteering, this is a great place to display that. Companies are transforming their culture. And they're transforming their culture into a more philanthropic attitude. This is my first job at a company. When I first got out of, working in an office setting. When I first got out of college, I worked for a shearing plow. I was a detail rep out in the field while I was after football. My second job, I was selling packaging. Cardboard boxes, all the way up to high-end displays for the movie industry. My next job, I was selling advertising to the insurance industry. Then I was commodities trader. Then I was in insurance. Now I'm at LinkedIn, and the culture there has completely transformed me as an individual and how I view my job. It's about not only how you do your job, but how you affect other people at your job. Every month we have one day we set aside all of our work and we have an in day. So each month we have a theme to that in day. In April it was Grow In. So in keeping with the green theme, I think it's Earth Day or whatever. So we all went out into different gardens around the city and we planted things. But it's about giving back. And companies want to see people that are going to be engaged in not only their company, but their culture. Because it's important. If you have 450 employees in a New York City office and you have 310 of them participating in an in-day almost every single month, that says something about the organization. And I think it comes top down. Our CEO, Jeff Weiner, was recently given a 100% score of approval by the LinkedIn employees. I think it's 6,300 employees globally. There was over 5,500 people that participated in the survey. 100% approval rating. So putting things on their LinkedIn profile that talks about their philanthropic, volunteering, and also encourage them to do that. When I was at University of Rhode Island, I was involved in the Big Brothers, Big Sisters program. That would have been something great to put on my LinkedIn profile if they had LinkedIn back then. And then, you can be choosy about how much information you put on, your internships. Just more about if they have multiple. If there's been an increase in responsibility with each level of internship that they've been in, have them talk about that. Have them showcase that each year they've gotten more responsibility in their role. So, skills and endorsements. I get a lot of people telling me how stupid they are, because you can endorse anyone for anything. There was a guy in my office, and when I first started, I knew him from a previous job, and I don't know, he's a little bit younger than I am. I'm 42, he's I think 28, 29. So we had this thing, he would, one day he flipped me off. And I was like, really? So then we found inventive ways of flipping each other off without just coming out and doing it. So, he's walking behind his desk or whatever. So 3 days later, he endorsed me for nonverbal communication. That's not a real great thing to be endorsed for in a sales role. But it's just a way of, I think we had up there, you could be endorsed for prostitution. They finally took that down. Yeah. Yeah. So they took away the ability to just type in anything, and now there's a drop-down box based on certain fields. I guess endorsements are good if you're putting in skills that are relevant to your either what you do or what you hope to do. For that case of the girl working at the child care center, taking care of children, child care, things like that, have that on there as a skill. Have people endorse you for it. Ask people to endorse you for it if it's something you feel is going to help you down the road. I don't really put too much stock in this. I don't give out a lot of endorsements. I used to. You go on top, you click endorse these 4 people, endorse, and it makes it very diluted. We're actually changing this now so where you can't endorse somebody unless they're a first-degree connection of yours. So once again, going back to what I'm going to talk about in a few minutes, I'm just getting ahead of myself. It's been a long morning already. I try and keep it at 10, but I keep getting endorsed for other things, and I have to just take them off. So I have organizations where I'm a board member. I volunteer with Team Rubicon, which is a part of the IAVA, the Iraqi Afghanistan Veterans of America. Languages. This is probably important if they want to do something in, say, foreign service and they speak a bunch of different languages. Have them display it here. And then, like I said, education. You'd be surprised at how many people don't have their education listed on their LinkedIn profile. Now, that might be because they don't have a formal education, or they just chose to omit it. But this is a place where people can find you, as well as you find other people. Activities, you can put that on there. I put my high school down. I don't really know why. You know, just skip over that.
That's a good reason.
I just, you know, it asked for it, so I put it in. Additional info, interests. I don't really have a lot on here. A lot of people write in like sentences about what their interests are. To me, like this is enough to have some keywords in there. This is not Facebook. You don't want to put in, you know, I enjoy long walks on the beach and holding hands with my boyfriend as he strokes my hair under the moonlight. Advice for contacting you. I would say create an email address that is specific for your job search. Because the last thing you want to have happen is you get lost in the shuffle. And I know this day and age of, I have a Gmail account where I get probably 150 emails a day, and like 2 of them are actually of any value to me. Like, I'm just getting spam so much. Mm-hmm. So what I do is for my LinkedIn profile, it's not attached, oh actually it is now attached to my LinkedIn.com account, but prior to that I had it all going to a separate email. So anything that has to do with your LinkedIn, have it go to a separate email address that you have specifically for LinkedIn. So when people send you an email or they invite you to connect, it's going all in one spot. The last thing you want to do is have somebody that invites you to connect, you don't see the email, you don't go on LinkedIn all that often, and they're a potential employer or a potential connection that can help you get a job. Recommendations. I've given one, I've gotten none. I stopped giving them after I got one. I gave one and I didn't get any back. I was like, wow. For me, it's a big no-no for the firms that I work with. They cannot provide me a recommendation because of FINRA and SEC laws, as well as their own company laws that say they can't endorse or recommend people. Kind of stinks. You know, I wish I could put in there, the companies I deal with can't give me recommendations, but there are lots. And then connections. So we're going to go through some of the options in your privacy settings, but you can see all of my connections. If we're connected on LinkedIn, you can go into my LinkedIn profile, click on all, and search through all 1,510 of my connections. I don't understand why people make themselves anonymous. I don't understand why people hide their connections. This is not Facebook. People aren't going to stalk you for, you know, a racy photo that you had or something stupid that you posted. This is about being professionally connected to people. And when I look at somebody's profile, they see who is looking at them. Now, on the flip side, if you make yourself anonymous, you won't see the people who are looking at you. So if you want to look at somebody and then they look back at you, it'll show up as anonymous. So you have to give to get.
How did you insert the how to contact me? That's not on my profile.
I'll go through it in the editing.
Thank you.
Yep. So groups. Groups is a super valuable place for these students to be interacting. I think there's 3 million groups on LinkedIn. There's a group for every occupation. There's a group for pretty much every interest. Having them search for groups for careers that they're interested in and then interacting with people in those groups to get an idea of if it's even something they want to pursue. Because I can tell you flat out, I've been in jobs that I've liked, I've been in jobs that I've hated, and now I'm in a job that I love. Sunday comes, and I can't wait to go to work on Monday. Friday comes, I'm like, when's Monday? And it's really, it's a disturbing thought to have. Yeah. I mean, I work in the Empire State Building. I have a 55-minute commute, and I work for one of the hottest companies around. And I'm killing it this year. I'm actually, I'm waiting on the largest deal for our financial services team in 24 months to come through today. So it's, I actually do love what I do. But groups is a great place not only to like find people and find information, but also now start to be viewed as a thought leader. Just because they're in college doesn't mean they don't have opinions or a view on a certain subject where people might stop and say, wow, that's a great way of thinking about that. Maybe we should engage this person. Because for the most part, college students are not in groups. This is a great place to now get exposure to their marketplace, to their career aspirations, to the people that are potentially going to be hiring them. Following individuals and companies is a great way to keep up to date inside of an organization. Following multiple companies inside the same industry keeps you up to date on what's trending in that industry. Organizations are doing so much more now on LinkedIn in promoting their company brand, what's transforming the industry for banking, insurance, childcare technology with nanny cams or whatever it may be. It's a great place to keep up to date. So if you do go in for an interview, you've seen all the information coming through on that organization, and if it comes up in conversation or you can drop it, now they know you've done your homework. There's nothing worse than walking into an interview not being prepared. And unfortunately, I experienced that yesterday. We had a gentleman come in yesterday to interview for an account executive 4 position, handling 10 major accounts, like Citi, MasterCard, Merrill Lynch, Bank of America, Wells Fargo. And the fact that he didn't even look at my LinkedIn profile was a huge red flag. And even though he wasn't supposed to be prepared on knowing products, knowing LinkedIn should have been his number 1 priority, and he didn't. And the interview was supposed to be an hour and a half. It was supposed to be a 30-minute role play and then just a conversation. And it ended up being a 15-minute role play and a 15-minute conversation and a handshake and have a good day. So these students need to be keeping up to date with the companies that they're interviewing with. Not to be, the kiss ass that, name drops and, talks about the last press release, but have it in case you need it. One of the cool features of LinkedIn is being able to see who's viewed your profile. I'm sure people wouldn't even be signed up on Facebook if they had that feature.
Yeah.
For me, because I have a premium account, I get to see all the people that have viewed my profile. There's Jackie. Hi, Jackie. And you didn't even, did you just do that now?
Yeah.
Okay. Because you didn't know I was in the hallway. Yeah, that's all right. So I have all these people that have looked at my profile that I can use as, an opportunity to reach out to them. Certainly people that I've prospected to. My boss creeping on my profile. Yeah, he was bad last year. We were all changing our profiles a lot. He was looking at it like every single day. So we put a wanted poster up for profile creeping. He didn't think it was funny. Premium accounts give you access to more people who viewed your profile. I've been on LinkedIn since 2006. Let me see here. See this number up here?
Hmm.
13,749,000. That's my member number. There are 317 million people on LinkedIn. Now, I think that's pretty good. I was talking to a guy the other day, his member number was like 100,000. Of course, he's from the San Francisco Bay Area, and he happened to be in the tech industry. I was so annoyed. But, so let's look at university pages. So if you go on your profile, you go under connections. Does anyone else have this like new profile view? I personally don't like it. You can like customize this banner with a picture and this and that. I thought they went way too Facebooky. So everyone go to connections on top and then click find alumni and this page should show up. So is everyone at University of Rhode Island? 47,107.
This is great to reach out to your alums.
So by showing more, you can really expand this out to find out where people live, where they work, what they do, what they studied, what they're skilled at, and how you're connected to them. So I was close, 168 first degree connections for University of Rhode Island alumni. I have 5,785 people that I could go to that aren't directly connected to me, but I can say, we have a connection in common. Let's connect. Let's see if we can help each other professionally. Or in your seat, I have a student here who's has a career aspiration of doing what you do. We've been looking at several LinkedIn profiles of alumni, and he's identified you as somebody he'd like to speak to about working for you. Whatever, I'm not an advisor, I'm a salesperson. So if I had an opportunity to think about how to sell an individual, at least their skills, not sell them personally, because that's illegal in most states. So you have secondary connections. Now I also have 7,500 people that are in my groups that went to the University of Rhode Island. And then third degree, 36,000. So how valuable is the access to the third degree network now? Hint, hint. You didn't hear me.
I didn't. I'm sorry. I'm playing.
Okay.
Very.
So first degree connections, I have 168. That's great.
I have
168.
371.
How many?
371.
Wow.
I know, right? Yeah.
I can fix that.
Yeah.
LinkedIn mobile app, University of Rhode
my
Island. Connect. Actually,
Yeah.
no, you don't want to do that, ever.
Okay, all right.
You never want to send an invitation to connect on a mobile app, iPad, tablet, ever. Please don't.
Why? I do it all the time.
Don't.
Why? Well, why?
It sends a generic invitation to connect.
Okay, so it's not.
You don't want to be one of those people. That is number 2 cardinal sin at LinkedIn. Number 1, not having a picture. Number 2, sending a generic invitation to connect. You don't have a picture, do you?
No, I have a picture. I use the mobile app all the time.
See, what I'll do is if I'm sitting on the train or something, I want to connect with somebody, I will, and then what I'll do is I'll send them an email. Or if you go to their profile and they have their email address listed, send them a quick note.
So I just sent you a generic connect, so you're probably gonna say absolutely not. So I should inbox you. Thanks, Chris, for the presentation.
Yes.
Look forward to networking.
So what I was saying is, with how you're connected, and this is something you should think about, because everyone here needs to leverage relationships to help these kids.
Right.
And 36,000 people. How many people in your third degree network?
31, 30, 41.
Anyone have less than 10,000 in their third degree network?
I have 43,000.
You have 43,000?
43,885 in my third grade.
So, not having the ability to see who those people are, or have any way of getting in touch with them, other than, you know, having their first name and last initial, and that wonderful URI database of alumni that comes in that huge blue book that really stinks. It's now in digital form. It's so hard to maneuver through that. You're missing out on 36,000 alumni that maybe help one of the students.
Right.
And I didn't even think I was going to go into a sales pitch, but I mean, boom, right there. I gotta find out who's on this account. I'm taking it over. And what you can now do, I mean, if you want to go, let's go see Les. Let's show Les for a little bit. So I want to see who these people are. So if you click on, so I want to see more of who's in my second degree. You click on secondary connections and it now only pulls up your second degree connections. And I want to know who's in marketing. So 5,700 people went down to 732. I want to see people that majored in marketing. Now I'm down to 91. This is like doing an advanced search without actually going into advanced search. Let me see if there's anybody. I mean, it's amazing the types of people you find that have come from the University of Rhode Island. Like this girl works at Twitter. Okay, you know, I don't know how many. There's 4 employees at LinkedIn in New York City that went to the University of Rhode Island.
Can you search it down even more, like nursing? Like I would know which ones.
Major.
Here, I'll show you.
All right, let's get rid of marketing because there's not going to be too many.
This is what they studied.
Oh, okay.
So you can bring it.
So, what do you want them to be? Registered nurse? Registered nursing?
Yes.
Health professionals? All right, so out of 5,700, I have 43 registered nurses for nursing.
There's your new clinical issues.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah. So you go into what they studied.
Oh, wait, hold on. We have.
Yes, I do. The button that you click to add a person, is that where you should be able to customize something to them? Because I tried that with someone and I didn't get the opportunity to write like a custom message.
Okay.
What do you mean by generic versus?
So when you want to connect with somebody,
Yeah.
don't do it from here.
Okay.
Click on their LinkedIn profile,
Oh, and
Then
then
click
you can
connect.
message them. Okay.
and now it'll already pre-populate inside of university pages. It'll pre-populate that you went to the University of Rhode Island together.
Okay, great.
And then do not put this, and I would typically write, a sentence or two.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank
If
you.
you do it inside of the, and you just click on it, it'll take you, it'll say invitation sent.
Right. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Where was I?
Second connections.
Oh, yeah. So anybody else have questions on how to? Okay.
I'm just, I apologize if you said this, but if I was meeting with a student last week and he wants to find an event planning internship in the New Jersey area. And so I knew of one former student for a program who worked in New Jersey, was on LinkedIn, so I could go right to our account and not go that way. But what would be the process? Like how can I have all of the people in sales and marketing, but how can I find their location and what's the etiquette? Can you just, is it connect first and then send a message? Do you send a message? Like, what would be appropriate to tell our students to do?
What I would tell them is to invite to connect
Okay.
with a personalized message.
Okay.
Use the max number of characters it'll allow you to get your point across. But don't be wordy. Just get your point across as to why you want to connect.
Okay.
Because someone seeing that, and some people just accept connections from anyone. I have a guy who I do business with. He has 4,800 connections, and he's proud of it. And I guess people trying to mass, the golden 100,000 connections. That's like the goal. It's somebody's goal to have 100,000 connections. That's ridiculous. Their network isn't valuable to them. I have 1,500 connections. When I got to LinkedIn, I had 700. Inside of 2 months, I realized that 400 of those 700 meant absolutely nothing to me. From 2006 to 2009, I connected with anybody I could. So it was like, Facebook, but for work. And I was in the insurance business. So it was like, just connecting with people, hopefully they'll do business with me. I quickly realized that they're not going to be able to provide any value to me, nor can I provide any value to them. If they ask me to get introduced to one of my other connections, I'd have to turn it down because I don't know them. I don't have the time or the bandwidth to get to know them. So I removed 400 connections. I went down to 300. And in the last 12 months, I've added 1,300 connections, 1,200 connections. Every single one of them is either alumni, prospect, someone who I know from a past work history, or a client. I've had people ask me for introductions on a daily basis for the last 6 months because they know that if they ask for an intro, A, they're going to get one, and it's going to mean something. One of the things that and I hate to use this word, but we use it all the time. It's just like LinkedIn jargon. One thing I leverage so much is this tool. And not because I work there, because I used it prior to being at LinkedIn. And I've seen it work for me. I've seen it work for me in my work life. It's helped me get my job that I have now. It's helped me become extremely successful at my job that I have now. It's going to help me get my next job, if there is one. But it's really about relationships. And all these things that we're talking about, whether it's the profile, headline, all these things, it comes down to this. It comes down to our alumni network and how we can use them to help these kids get their foot in the door somewhere.
So can I say, one of the things we did in class for ITR 300 is I would have my students connect with me, and then I asked them to go in through my connections and say to especially the alums, because that's most of my connections, hi, I am connecting with you because I noticed that you were also connected with Kim Washer, and I'm trying to do an informational interview. I want to learn more about your field, so would this be okay? And no one got turned away. I didn't have anybody say that an alum turned me away. So I think it's a great way just to do a soft transfer between two parties.
And one thing I would stress when you're talking to these students is advise them not to connect with each other. What's that?
Why is that?
Because they're going to be essentially connected through their alumni network, and I think you can do it here.
What happens when they're
Follow.
What happens when they're in different jobs, so they leave the university? I mean,
Not right now. This is not the time to connect with your friends. This is the time to connect with people that can help you achieve your professional goals. Now, if their friend is someone that might be able to help them achieve their professional goals, then go for it. If this person is going to be a teacher, but his dad is a CFO at Morgan Stanley, connect with his ass. have everyone follow the University of Rhode Island on LinkedIn. Have them be a part of the University of Rhode Island group. If they're graduating, have them be a part of the alumni group in their area. There are so many groups. Be active in those groups. One of the other things that has recently come back to LinkedIn that I just remembered, we used to be able to see, when you clicked on somebody's profile, you used to be able to see their activity history, the things that they shared, whether it was something they created or something they curated from the internet. And we took that away for some god-awful reason in December, and our leadership team decided to put it back. But it's not, here. This is where it normally would have been in this section here. It's now view recent activity. So now it shows you this one.
I like that.
This was actually created last year by Coca Sexton, who is the digital social selling creative person at LinkedIn. I work with him pretty closely on a lot of things that we do. So he creates these, I don't know, how do you pronounce them? Memes?
Memes.
Yeah, so he created this. It went viral. It had like 4 million views. But this is where you get to see all the person's activity. So if you're going in for an interview, not only are you following the company information about what they're sharing, but now you can see what this individual is sharing. Keep up to date on what they're doing. Questions other than edit? Participation.
I have a stupid question.
There are no stupid questions, just stupid people. No, I'm kidding.
Oh. InMail. I don't know how to use it. Where is it?
Okay, so InMail is right here. This little thing here. You go to messages. Oops.
Look at that personalized message, Richard.
We're going to go right to this. We don't want people seeing my InMail. That's personal communication. You need to have a premium subscription.
For InMail?
Yeah.
Oh. How much does that cost?
$1 million. Can you write that check now? Wire transfer, ETF,
Kathy
ACH?
is with the foundation, so yeah.
Okay.
She's covered.
There are some accounts that I think our lowest level account is $9.99 per year, which gives you 3 InMails a month with a guaranteed response in 7 days.
No, but you can use the mail function now. If you want to send an email, you can send it.
What do you mean?
The mail. Marie, are you asking about just messaging people?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can use the messaging at the top. See where it says number 1 and it has a little envelope?
Yeah, that's InMail.
Yeah, but I'm doing it. I don't pay $1,000.
Who are you messaging to?
You.
People that you connect.
Right. So, all right.
Only to your connection. Yeah,
Here's
only
the-
my connections. Right.
So here's the thing. See on my profile at the top right hand? Oh, doesn't show it anymore? I don't know why it's not showing up.
There's a circle.
There is a circle? So that circle indicates that I'm an open link
Chris
member.
is part of the open profile.
Right. So as a premium subscriber, I'm allowing non-premium subscribers the ability to send me an InMail without having a premium subscription.
Oh, okay.
So anyone can send me an InMail. So if you find an alumni that has the open link prior to the University of Rhode Island purchasing 50 seats of LinkedIn Sales Navigator for $49,385.33. I'm not joking, that's the exact number. 136 seats is $110,087.56.
Send a message if you need to your contacts through here.
You can, to your first degree connections, you can
First
send
connections,
one-to-one
right.
messages.
So Marie, you can do that after you've already connected.
I've done that a couple of times.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I was wondering how InMail would benefit me.
InMail is outside of your network, outside of your first degree connection. So your second degree, third degree group members, you have the ability to send an InMail directly contact them.
Okay.
Really important for your third degree network where you don't have any relationship with those people. First degree are people you're directly connected to. Second degree is essentially your friends' friends or your coworkers' coworkers. And then your third degree is where the majority of those people are going to sit. You saw my first degree, I had 168 people at the University of Rhode Island. Second degree was 5,700, and third degree was 36,000. So not having access to those 36,000, if they're open link members, use InMail. It's a great way to reach out to somebody. I know that, and I'm kind of anal about the whole like one thing and two, and I don't like things on my iPhone like that say I have messages or anything, so I clear them all out. There are some people that don't like that either, and they see that little thing on their LinkedIn, they're going to click on it, they're going to open it, they're going to read it. All right, so I want to show you how to use the introduction feature. I don't know if you can use that on free LinkedIn, but maybe you're where I can spring for at least the first level up. Okay, so I have Michael Cerami is somebody that I want to talk to. And as you can see, I have one shared connection with Michael. And that's Neil Spencer. So in order to get in touch with Michael, I want to ask Neil to give me an introduction. So I'm going to click on Michael's profile. I don't want to connect with him because that's being extremely presumptuous. So I want to get introduced. I'm going to click on Neil. I'm going to type in, could you please give me an introduction? I'm going to tell him why I want to get introduced to him, but I also want to give him an out. Hey Neil, I understand if your relationship with Michael isn't strong enough to foster this introduction, but you and I have worked in the past, and if it's possible, I'd like you to introduce me to him because of XYZ. So you're asking for the intro, you're telling him why, and you're giving him an out if the relationship isn't strong enough. You can use this feature for alumni. This is fantastic. It's a great way to build your relationship with that individual, as well now as introduce, get introduced into that person. So it's done right through the platform. Once again, I have to figure out how we can work a deal for the University of Rhode Island. Two people leaving me early.
Yeah.
Rude.
Bye, Jackie. Bye, Jackie.
You're going to miss the edit portion. It's very intuitive. It's going to help you kind of go through the process. Oh, didn't do it. There. Yeah. So you can change the photo. If you want to, like if you want to add in your maiden name, just go to edit, and then put it in the last name. Just put it in parentheses, and then save. Headline, same thing. Anywhere where there's a, here we go. Let's see what this is. Turn on open profile. I already have all that. Jesus. The one thing I notice now is, not a lot of people have contact information on their profile. Who here has contact info? Telephone number and email address, both.
No.
Really? I mean, I have everything but my blood type on here. Put contact info in here, especially for your role in advising students. Give them a way of contacting you. Give alumni a way of contacting you.
A little card. Yeah, a little card that says you.
What's that? There's a little card.
There's a little card that says contact info.
Right. Do you have any contact info on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I even.
Oh, that's good.
for all 4 of my connections.
Wow. Hey, you gotta start somewhere.
I know. This is a new homework assignment, so I'm excited.
No, I would have to say that my greatest achievement so far at LinkedIn was in New Orleans last week with Guardian Life. I had a gentleman come over to me, he was 63 years old, still in the insurance business, wanted to learn how to build his practice better. He bought a premium subscription for $900 from me without even having a LinkedIn profile. I sat with him for 1 hour and 10 minutes and explained to him why he needed to be on it. And at the end of that 1 hour and 10 minutes, he put his pen to paper and signed up. LinkedIn is powerful. It's going to help you. It's going to help the kids you're advising. And it's going to help the university as well. Put contact information in there. If, God forbid somebody loses their phone, they can go to the computer and find out what your number is. Anybody on Twitter?
Yes.
Anybody on Twitter for work?
Yes.
Really? Good for you. Like, you have separated work and personal? How many followers do you have?
Personal, not a lot.
Work?
Lots.
How many?
Well, it's for our center. So
Okay, how many?
I don't know. How many?
I mean, you're talking like thousands?
No.
I have 168.
Yeah, probably a couple hundred.
Really?
Yeah.
I've only been on Twitter a short time.
They like Twitter a lot better than Facebook.
Yeah.
The students.
Well, I mean, Facebook's kind of
It's outdated.
dying.
Unfortunately,
So
we're just learning
anywhere
it.
anywhere there's a pen, you can change that information. As far as recommended for you, adding projects, publications, certainly if you have any writers that you're working with, whether they're writing for the Good 5 Cent Cigar, the Projo, any local newspapers, they want to put that in here. Honors and awards. Remember I was talking about the really successful insurance guy who had that list of accomplishments? That's the place to put it. You put it in honors and awards. You don't put it in your LinkedIn profile, the body of it. And then test scores. I don't know, if you've got 1,600, or you score perfect on the LSAT or the GMAT, or I don't know what else they have. But,
GRE.
GRE, MRE, NBA, CIA. If you get, I don't really see a need for putting test scores. I guess courses, if you're still a student and you want people to know what you're studying. Maybe you're studying some advanced classes. It's a good place to do that. I do see more and more kids updating the courses that they are taking. Certifications, patents. That's an odd one to put. So let's talk about adding rich media. So click to add a video. Okay, what does it say? Video, image, document, presentation. So if you want to upload a file, just go to wherever that file is and then upload it, and it'll show up in this form here. So when somebody clicks on it, this is a YouTube video. And I'm not going to make you watch this. This is Martin Gagnon from National Bank of Canada, and he's really hard to understand. And anybody who wants to 10 steps to a rockin' LinkedIn profile, this is through SlideShare. And as you can see, it's a little bit outdated because this says 225 million members. I put this on, I don't know, probably March of last year. It's really, when I look at somebody's LinkedIn profile, if they've taken the time to write information about who they are, if they've taken the time to upload information about what they've done, things that they're passionate about, those are the types of people I want to connect with. Those are the types of people I want to talk to. Because I know that they're going to be, and once again I'll use this word, engaged in the platform. It's about engagement, it's about relationships, it's about being able to leverage the people that you want to talk to, work with, and communicate with. As far as going experience, once again, putting any kind of internships they've already had, work history. Maybe they own a lemonade stand that made $10,000 in a summer. That's something to talk about. I mean, being entrepreneurial, like that little girl in the commercial. She has like an assistant and meetings. So you can also change the positioning. Anywhere you see this icon, so I can drag to reorder this. So if I wanted to put this above my LinkedIn experience, I could do that. And it's just as simple as taking it and dragging it up, and then it'll put it in place. I don't want to do that. And one of the other things is, as you're updating your profile, if you're doing a lot of changes, no, it's not going to like go blank on you, but notifying your network. What you want to do is do not publish changes, because you don't want, like if you're adding rich media and all this other stuff all at once, you don't want to continually send your network an update that you've updated your profile. So I would suggest for like summary changes for any of the students that are doing it for the first time, have them not publish it. For yourselves, maybe not publish it. If you're going to add any kind of rich media after you've built out a strong profile, then share those changes, because you want your network to see this information. You want them notified about it, because now you're going to get those profile views. You're going to get the invitations to connect. You're going to start building out your network. So in the experience, if they currently work there, as far as, you know, from a co-op standpoint, I don't even know, does it still exist? Do they still do those?
Yeah.
You know, you also can see examples. You know, I think, you know, college kids and adults can pretty much accurately describe what they do.
Maybe not.
You would think. As far as if you're working for an organization that has a website and they have, you know, a company blurb about, you know, what the organization does, who they are, what they cater to, underneath your individual roles or responsibilities, you can put that in there. It's not a bad thing to do that. And then skills and endorsements, we already talked about that. Organizations, adding that in there. Languages, and ensure everyone puts University of Rhode Island in their education. You guys can also add in links and upload files that you guys have, as far as, I think I had it on here. Oh no, I did for a while. The February event, I had that on my LinkedIn profile that I was going to be coming up here. It's always nice to come back to URI.